Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome into Before the Hedges, presented by Kroger. I'm Hannah Chalker alongside Georgia recruiting expert Jeff Sintel. Thanks, everybody, for spending time with us on this lovely Monday evening.
Hannah Duck.
Are you done?
Okay, we're doing.
What are you doing? What are we doing?
All right.
What was that?
You might
What
not
was
know
that?
this, but that was Quay Walker's hat.
Whew.
That just
Soared
whipped its way right across
over
the
us.
head. Now it's on 400. It's got its blinker light on. That was a close one. Quay Walker's hat. We're almost internet men's.
Ooh, that was a close one. That wasn't scripted at all. Jeff, how you doing?
Doing good, Hannah. How are you?
Doing good. I'm glad we got that out of the way early.
Comic relief. It's like Chevy Chase falling down the stairwell of Air Force One.
Oh, man. Well, back to regular programming. It's been 5 days since National Signing Day, Jeff. Now that the dust has settled, where does the dog sit?
Well, I'm going to say this. First off, all you gentlemen whose wives are making you watch The Bachelor right now, stop it. Please stop it. We got your Be Mine. We got your Hearts for You. We got your Crazy About You. We got all those smart hearts, sweethearts right here for you, and that is the Georgia 2018 recruiting class. Now, there's lots of things. We've kind of covered the gamut over the last 4 or 5 days on the site. You got guys like the latest additions, those last 6 guys they signed. But the things to remember here, Georgia dominates the SEC in the elite players category.
Awesome, awesome. Well, we know that everybody watching this show uses it as ammo to get themselves through the week, through the day, through all of this recruiting craziness. What can you give our viewers a nugget of information to keep them buzzing now that National Signing Day is over?
Well, if you want some new stuff for that water cooler, I've got a couple for you right here. Now, the first one to look about is the SEC dominance. Quite the parlay for the Georgia Bulldogs. Georgia signed 7 5-star players. The rest of the Southeastern Conference signs 3.
Wow.
That is a decided mathematical advantage.
That definitely is. Well, we've got a really good show for you coming up today. We're going to talk about the 2008 class just a little bit more. We're also going to look ahead to the 2019 cycle. Dogs already have that #1 class according to 24/7 Sports. And we're going to talk about the 5 impact players from the 2018 class that you guys need to be getting to know their names very well very soon. But let's still stick on that 2018 class for just a minute. And you have a special stat that's really going to twist the knife into other SEC schools around the league compared to UGA.
Yeah, we do. Now, first of all, I want to give all creative credit here to one of our DogNation.com message board forum users, Joel Sidney Kelly, and this is some good stuff if you're looking for another layer of oomph and about how much Georgia really dominated the rest of the conference. We're going to play a little game, Hannah. Okay. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to kind of wave a magic wand, and I'm going to magically import the highest rated player in every other SEC signing class into Georgia's famed 2018 class. And I think everybody out there will be quite pleased with how the rest of the league brothers, best guy on their board, how that ratchets up and how that ranks on Georgia's remarkable class of 2018. And we even got our great graphics department, whose last name may or may not resemble Chalker. She did a great job, guys, and let's take a look at that right now so you can see exactly what's going on with Georgia's class. If you start looking at Georgia's class, you will see, well, we've got another graphic besides this wonderful signing day graphic right here as well.
There we go. That's the one that I whipped up today.
That's our graphic. On the left, you'll see the SEC school. And if we put the highest rated dude off their board, their marquee signee, and we place them into Georgia's class, Alabama's best guy would rank 2nd, LSU 5th, Auburn 10th, Tennessee 10th, Florida 10th, Texas A&M 12th, Ole Miss 12th, South Carolina 15th, that's Rick Sandage right there, Mississippi State 16th, Kentucky 17th, Vanderbilt 19th, 23rd is both Missouri and Arkansas. Again, the big clarifier there is we're taking the highest rated guy at every one of those other recruiting classes in the SEC, and we're trying to wedge them into Georgia's class. And that's where the top recruit at all those other SEC schools would rank if they signed with Georgia.
Okay, you're telling me that Arkansas's best player in the 2018 class is UGA's, would be 23rd on UGA's?
That's correct. That would be 23rd. Arkansas's best player would rank 23rd in their class. Arkansas's best player would rank 23rd overall in Georgia's class. They would barely have made Georgia's pledge class for 2018.
Got your microphone on there?
I think the mic is working. Everybody got sound? Let's go one more time. Happy Valentine's Day. Did you guys get the Bachelor joke?
They didn't know that they were coming on to a comedy show today, Jeff.
Did you guys get the Bachelor joke? Did you get the Quay Walker? I think Quay Walker's hat knocked my microphone off. I thought we missed it, but we did not miss it.
Okay, well, let's take a look at the graphic that also popped up. The 2018 signees, all the signees that Georgia landed on National Signing Day. Who is the biggest guy here, Jeff?
Well, we're looking at a graphics right now, and this is how beautiful the 2019 class currently looks right now. But when we're looking at the 2018 class, the shining armor guy, the big star of that class, would have to be 5-star Tyson Campbell, 6'2.5", runs a 10.4 in the 40 and the 100 meters dash. If everybody heard what Kirby Smart said at signing day, he basically said the Bulldogs don't have anybody that runs that fast in the program at 10.4 in the 100 meters. Oh, and by the way, Tyson Campbell is also about 6'3" on the growth chart.
All right. Well, with the signing day in the books, what was your biggest takeaway?
Biggest takeaway for me for signing day was basically how Georgia added a little bit extra numbers to the class. I thought most people had no idea they were going to end up with 26 signees. And as we kind of talked about on Before the Hedges from, I guess, when I was from Fort Lauderdale that night, the expected addition of both Quay Walker and Otis Reese definitely materialized in the class. Georgia also didn't do some of the things that Alabama is known for, and that means getting rid of one of their lower rated commitments. They found a way to get both Jordan Davis and Quay Walker into the class, and that's how Georgia arrives at 26 signees for 2018.
All right, let's break some of these guys down. Let's talk about the 5 impact players for 2018. Let's start off with Jake Camarda.
Yeah, basically we wanted to sit there and give the readers this. I wanted to say, and the viewers this, who are the 5 guys that could make the quickest immediate impact at Georgia? I got 6 names in mind. I'm going to start with Jake Camarda, the punter, the howitzer man with a leg, because I think he, above all else, is a guy that can contend right away and start right away in game 1. Everybody knows that Georgia graduated its great option at the punter spot for 2017, and he would likely be in a battle with a walk-on candidate and also Marshall Long, who is returning from injury. Jake Camarda is a guy, actually the lowest rated guy in Georgia's recruiting class, because kickers really don't get any love off the major services. But Jake Camarda is a guy that I think has maybe the easiest pathway to starting for the Georgia Bulldogs as a freshman.
All right, and Jamari Salyer, a player that we had been talking about a long time that you actually personally know. You've done many features with him leading up to his commitment with the G. What kind of impact is he going to make? Well,
Jamari, first of all, fits every size quotient you want to think about. He's about 6'4", about 345. I've been told he's been asked by the staff to get down to about 330, 340, 335 in order to try to get a chance to play right away. And I want to say this often because in the dangerous world of freshmen and everybody gets all their hopes up about how quickly they can play, there's a 3 bullet point checklist I always go by. Lots of smart coaches feel this way about, can a guy play early? Number 1 is his technique sound. Salyer definitely checks out that item right there. Number 2, is he big enough? Obviously 6'4", 345, 348 pounds, he can do that. And then number 3, is he smart? Is he mentally smart enough and strong enough in order to withhold the demands of that position? Jamari Salyer has all those. Now, it's going to be tough for him to get a left guard or right guard spot, but I think Jamari Salyer will be just that hard to keep off the field.
All right, and what about Tyson Campbell? Kirby Smart said it himself, there is no one as big or fast than TC on the class.
All right, Tyson Campbell, we've got a guy here, as we talked about before, the 5-star, 6'2.5", 180 pounds. Georgia, remember, graduates all those safeties and all those guys in its nickel and dime personnel. As a boundary corner, as an outside corner, perhaps as a nickel corner, Tyson Campbell, I think, even though he arrives in June, is going to be that hard to keep off the field. And reminder, folks, Tyson Campbell is the first 5-star cornerback the Bulldogs have signed since Brandon Smith in 2009. The young man's going to play a lot of football for Georgia in Athens, and he even told me he hopes to wear number 1 between the hedges. And on defense, that's already becoming a very contested number because that's a number Brenton Cox hopes to wear as well.
All right, and Brenton Cox, you just said it, he's enrolling early at UGA, and he has already got SEC size. He's huge.
Yeah, he's about 6'5", about 250-ish pounds. He's already going to be in the weight room for about 8-9 months by the time it's time to play football games for Georgia in the fall. Already got bigger size than Davin Bellamy. Wow. Humble yourself, and then also Lorenzo Carter, who saw a lot of time for Georgia over the last 2 years at that starting position out on the edges. I think Brenton Cox can play the run really well. I call him the pass rush ninja a lot because he can find a way to get to the quarterback and upset the quarterback's launch points. Brenton Cox is a guy that's going to be hungry. He's already pretty well skilled. Got a lot of technique to work to his game as well. So he's a guy. He's already going to have SEC size when he enrolls in, and that's maybe different than a few guys like Azeez Ojulari or Adam Anderson because they're a little smallish right now.
We were at the Touchdown Club of Atlanta banquet together, and Brenton Cox is a guy. I'm not short. I'm 5'9", and I wear heels a lot, so that puts me at like 5'11", 6 feet. I mean, this guy. I mean, you're looking straight up at him.
He is, and he's also got that nice, quick, twitchy kind of game. He can fire off the line. He's very explosive, also very physical. And I think Georgia, although most people rated the 5-star as a strong side defensive end, I do think Brenton Cox can be a guy that can play at that outside linebacker position in that kind of odd front Georgia likes. Everybody calls it the jack position. And that's something Brenton Cox out of Stockbridge High going to play early and often for the Bulldogs.
All right, number 5 on our 5 impact players is Zamir White. He's a guy I can see starting or at least seeing quite a bit of playing time his freshman season, right?
Yeah, Zamir's a guy 6'1", 226. Look at that WWE style intro we're showing you guys right there. Ironically, that's from Zamir's last high school game. He would suffer a season-ending knee injury. And that's really the big reason why maybe Zamir's name is not a lot higher on this list. He's coming back from a torn ACL. All indications are that young man's going to try to give it a go in fall camp. I do think he will be ready to hit that field kind of like that, maybe mid-September, late September. And when he does, again, 6'1", 226, nation's #1 overall running back, a 5-star in 2018. I do think that Zamir White will be a guy, once that knee is healthy and sound and it gets that green emoji check by the training staff, he's going to be a guy that's very hard to keep off the field, and he's going to be as talented as any back on Georgia's roster.
Jeff loves his emojis. All right, we also have a 5B. You just couldn't stop at 5. Who is it?
Yeah, the other guy I would think, and I had to throw an asterisk there a little bit there with Zamir White just because of where he's at, but I like Channing Tindall a lot. He's big, the top player in South Carolina. 6'2", about 218 pounds, very explosive. When we first saw him at the Atlanta opening last March, he had that explosive first step. He ran all those agility drills very well. Big time vertical leap, very good in the short shuttle drill. Actually was rated as an outside linebacker, a top 5 outside linebacker. Better scheme fit, better position fit for him at Georgia's on the inside. Maybe taking over a little bit of that role, that all those reps that Roquan Smith had. Monty Rice is back for Georgia there. Jawan Taylor. What will Natrez Patrick be like in 2018? I think there's a guy by the name of Channing Tindall that can get on the field pretty early for Georgia in that inside linebacker rotation.
We have people in the comment section that want to know why Justin Fields is not on your list. Pretty mad too, all caps.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to predict an injury. I'm not going to predict, an instant impact for Justin Fields. I mean, of course, Georgia might give him a package. He might earn that package, but he has to earn that package. Short yardage snaps. Maybe he's got, a series or two, kind of in the DJ Shockley mode. But I'm talking about an instant impact guy to become a major part of the game plan early on at Georgia. And let's face it, guys. Jake Fromm did lead the team to a SEC championship and the national championship game in his first year as a starter. Justin Fields, the highest rated guy that Georgia signed in 2018, But I can't give him an instant impact status yet when there's a clear entrenched starter at his position.
All right, that's Jeff Sintel. I'm Hannah Chalker. Thank you so much for watching Before the Hedges, presented by Kroger. We've got a lot more coming up for you today, but for those of you who have The Bachelor on a different TV screen, Kroger can help you out because Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and they've got everything you need from sweets to gifts to cards, everything in between. Kroger has you covered. And Jeff, you said that you had a very special day planned for your wife on Valentine's Day, that you were going to go out and play golf with your buddies.
Yeah, would that be Valentine's Day as the selfish Valentine's Day? Well, I would think Valentines are for the evenings and everything else. I mean, I guess you could cook up something, a nice little kebab, maybe some quinoa. You get some
quinoa.
Yeah, quinoa.
Quinoa.
You can get all that, and you can really put it nice on your plate. But you gotta do Valentine's Day right when you're in that married with kids lane. Now yourself, I want to know about your Valentine's Day plans, and it sounds like you've got a good Valentine's Day, like the last few Valentine's days you spent with your significant other.
Well, our viewership is going to start plummeting if we sit here talking about Valentine's Day, but for all the guys out there, I do have some positivity to bring. I did friend zone my fiance for 10 years, so for those of you in the friend zone, there's hope. We're getting married.
Determined gentleman. He kept chopping wood, I guess, so to speak. He kept pursuing the young lady, and look, they're going to be walking down the aisle.
Oh, man. You know, I told him not to bring this up. All right, you know who else is chopping wood?
Yep.
Kirby Smart's chopping wood, not only in 2018, but in 2019. Can 2019 be even better than what we saw this year? I mean, historic signing day last Wednesday.
Definitely, but Georgia, if you look at what Georgia did in 2018, there's a way for Georgia to just come up with a better collection of players in 2019. And the way to do that is basically making sure that the bottom third of that class is filled with more elite players. If you look at the 2019 rankings for the state of Georgia, there's going to be a lot more players. It looks like Georgia's going to stack up at least 35, 45 4-stars in the class of 2019. Big stat that I wrote about in today's blog is Georgia signed 15 players within the nation's top 150. But then between 150 and 250, there were only 3 more players. The remaining 8 guys in Georgia's class were all rated outside the nation's top 300 players. I think Georgia, if it does a better job at the bottom of its class, they even mocked up a class and saw where Georgia with 23 signees, projected signees that I just kind of went through my memory banks for a little bit. Georgia already put together a number which would top its historic class in 2018 with what they can do at a moderate amount of success. Not giving all 5 stars here in this class either. Not giving all the very best players. Not trying to make sure Georgia reels in every guy that they have their eyes on. But if I looked for it and I did a moderate projection, and if Georgia does that, they can very well top what they signed in 2018.
Well, let's talk about 5 stars, because I know a lot of Georgia fans love to hear how many 5 stars that UGA is getting. And I believe on our National Signing Day recap show on SEC Country that I was on, I mentioned that Georgia signed 7 5 stars this year, according to 24/7 Sports, and that's a 24/7 Sports modern era record. But it depends on where you look. So what's the discrepancy between 7 5 stars, 9 5 stars? How many 5 stars did Georgia end up with?
Yeah, that's another, I guess, bulldog point of pride for everybody that wants to brag a little bit more around the water cooler. Because if you look at Cost Rivals, Scout, ESPN, Georgia actually signed 10 guys that were given 5 stars by somebody. Now, there's a traditional 7 we're going to roll off really fast. Justin Fields, Zamir White, Jamari Sawyer, Adam Anderson, Cade Mays, Brenton Cox. Then you add Tyson Campbell. That gets them up to 6. And then the other 3 guys that were not named on all of the 24/7 Sports composite, but 24/7 gave Quay Walker 5 stars. They also gave Channing Tindall 5 stars, and Rivals also gave James Cook 5 stars as well. So when you look at that class, the 26 guys Georgia signed, there were actually 10 guys that merited that elite 5-star rating in somebody's book. And that's a number that even elevates that 7 into a double-digit territory, which is still very remarkable for any class, anywhere, anytime.
Okay, I know that your viewers, especially on Wednesday nights, love for your predictions. So I have a prediction for you. How many 5 stars is Georgia going to sign in the 2019 cycle? And remember, Jeff, this lives on. Your fans This is important. How many? What's the number?
I don't think, and this is not going to try to make you guys turn your eyes towards The Bachelor or anything else like that, or wish that Hannah and I would talk more about Valentine's Day.
They really want to hear about
I do not think Georgia gets to 8 5-stars in 2019. That's just kind of illogical for anybody to predict that, because you can't really predict a record breaker in terms of 5-stars. There's only about approximately 32 every year to begin with, at least on the 24/7 Sports Composite. And I don't think Georgia's going to be able to get there in 2019. Still think Georgia can have a much better class, or a slightly better class, than its historic 2018 haul in the upcoming cycle, which is 2019. But I got a number in mind. Georgia's already got 3 that are already committed for 2019. I do think all 3 of those young men stick with the class, and I can see the Bulldogs adding anywhere between 2 to 3 more. I'm going to go 6. I think Georgia will end up we're right around 5 or 6 5-stars in the class of 2019.
I've got a lot of people who agree with you. Nate Thomas says 6, 6, 6. Doug Caswell says 7. So Joe Rush says you're going to jinx them now. He thinks they're going to get 8 5-stars. So
8 5-stars, guys. If you got the 5-stars that you think how Georgia can do the math, 3 plus 5, how they get to 8, how they get to 7, I'd love to hear your dream picks for the class as well.
All right, well, let's talk about 2019 for a little bit longer, and we'll show you all of the targets for UGA, including one guy, Ryland Godey, top tight end in the country. You've actually had a chance to speak with him, get to know him a little bit, from Ackworth, Georgia, went to Kennesaw Mountain High School. That's right around the corner. We're broadcasting here in Dunwoody by Perimeter Mall. What is the outlook for him at the tight end position, and who are these other names that stick out to you?
Well, Ryland Godey, he actually was the great commitment on signing day, the junior, nation's number 6 tight end, Ryland Godey. He chose Georgia on National Signing Day. Big time guy. He's going to make a lot of guys jealous. Probably going to be the ideal Romeo Valentine guy for a lot of the young ladies out there. But he is a true 3-sport athlete. He plays golf and baseball for his high school teams at Kennesaw Mountain. I've been told, good information here, he's going to shoot about 75 or 76 on the golf course. Going to crush a 300-yard drive at will. He's going to hit 400-foot home runs, hit with power. He is a perfect game All-American on the baseball diamond. Will also play baseball at Georgia, but he's also the nation's number 6 tight end. Had offers aplenty from everywhere. 6'7", about 235. Can block down, can hit that reach block. Also played some defensive end in high school, but definitely not going to do that for the Georgia Bulldogs. And he is a really true 3-sport athlete. And again, his best friends, J.D. Bertrand and Dominic Blaylock, they were part of what I thought was one of the coolest signing day commitment ceremonies I've seen in quite some time.
So we won't be back on air until next Monday. You get a fun show on Wednesday, but who on this show, give everybody a name from the 2019 class besides Ryland Godey that they can kind of buzz about all week before we get back on.
Well, he was the newest commitment for Georgia, newest commitment, not signee for Georgia.
That's what I meant.
The names to think about that maybe who could be the next to commit to Georgia, I got 2. I got Owen Popo as a guy that I think might make his commitment to Georgia within the next 2 to 3 months. Another name, Tresman Marshall. I think he can make his commitment anytime before the end of his junior season, his junior school academic year. Those would be the 2 inside linebackers, and that would check off everything Georgia's looking for at the inside linebacker position. Lots of names you guys are going to read about. I put on the blog this morning about the potential 5-stars that Georgia could add to the class. Owen Popo was one of those. A young man by the name of Devontae Dobbs out of Michigan was in that class. I think Clay Webb is a guy who's definitely Alabama and Auburn definitely want that in-state product dearly, but I do think Georgia has a fighting shot there for Clay Webb. Trevon Walker is a guy that's currently just a 4-star, but I do see him eventually earning that 5-star status. He's a guy that I think will eventually come down to either Georgia or Clemson. Those are kind of the big, huge names where I think Georgia has a really good shot to add in that 5-star lane for 2019.
You did answer Demetrius Etheridge's question in the comment section. He says, can any one of the 4 stars we now have on board for 2019 get upgraded to 5-star? Anybody else, you think?
Yeah, Trevon Walker is a guy that I think is definitely a guy that's a target that could eventually get his 5 stars. If you look at those guys that are currently holding a 4-star rating for Georgia, Not sure if any of those guys will wind up 5 stars. The 3 that they've currently got 5 stars, Nolan Smith, Dominic Blaylock, Jaden Hazelwood, those 3 guys are going to be 5 stars for the duration. Those guys aren't going anywhere. And maybe the other 5 stars Georgia could add would probably start with Popo, maybe Walker, maybe Dobbs. Dobbs is a very interesting case. You've not read a lot about Dobbs yet. We're going to write about him this week, but Dobbs is a guy that is rated as the nation's #1 offensive tackle at this time. But he's a guy that I think will eventually wind up a guard. He's only like about 6'4", maybe 295, 300 pounds. Doesn't have that elite Georgia Redwood type frame to be a tackle in Athens anymore.
We're going to take some more questions and comments. We got about 3 or 4 minutes left on the show. Matthew Goodwin says, I thought the coaches would not allow 2-sport athletes, or was that just Rick's policy? Of course, Cody playing baseball and football.
Yeah, I think that's a policy that's going to be up to the discretion of Kirby Smart. Remember, Georgia was willing to let Justin Fields play baseball if that's what it took to get him in the class of 2018 and as a part of that rare breed. So I think Kirby is a very well schooled in the art of the deal. And I think Kirby Smart's going to offer a lot of enticements to make sure that the players he wants for his program can come to Georgia. And if there's something that's going to be a hang-up where they can participate at another school, then I think that he would definitely make that concession.
Jason McKay, who is the 2019 running back target, and he's bleeding red and black.
The 2019 running back targets. Well, I don't know if Georgia's going to
You need my help? Let me
stay in
help
that
you.
running back lane. For I don't know if Georgia's going to stay in that running back lane for 2019. We're having all sorts of fun tonight. Wrapped up into the wheels. Let's try this again.
You guys are in it for the ride. This is live. This is live. Jeff Sintel and Hannah Chalker. They really are in for a comedy show today.
Man, that Quay Walker hat knocked off a lot of props in our studio. Anyway, running back, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to immediately pop to a running back. I don't know if Georgia has its eye on, dedicated targets at running back. I think the running back position in the stable is pretty full right now, adding James Cook and Zamir White. I know Georgia's running back you. Lots of folks want to know who the next big running backs will be for the University of Georgia. I'm going to wonder what sort of run Georgia would make at Ronald Tompkins out of Grayson. He's about to get cleared off his knee injury. I think he should be back participating in the summer for Grayson, and that's a guy that's always liked Georgia for some time. And that might be a guy under the athlete position where maybe Georgia would want to add somebody to the fold.
I can't stop laughing. I'm sorry, the comments that are coming in are so funny. Okay, we've got like 1 minute left, so let's try to get another comment in. Somebody asked about the Fromm brothers, Tyler Fromm. Is he on Georgia's?
Yeah. Tyler Fromm is obviously Jake Fromm's younger brother, one of the twins. Got some offers. I think he's got a South Carolina offer to play tight end. I think he's got another offer within the SEC as well at Vanderbilt. 6'4", 235 pounds. More of a hybrid flex tight end. Can kind of do a lot of those Jimmy Graham type things in the offense. He hasn't got an offer from Georgia yet. I know that's one that he would certainly like to see from the in-state school where his brother plays. He's a guy that I think has a very bright future. Georgia's going to look at a lot of players offensively. They've already got 2 5-star wide receivers committed. I'd be interested to see if they add another tight end beyond Godey. I think they will try to add another receiver outside of Dominic Blaylock and Jaden Hazelwood, though.
All right, final thoughts on the show, final thoughts on National Signing Day, the 2019 class. Just let's wrap up the show.
I think people are going to be interested to know about how microphones can come off during the course of a live broadcast. That would be very interesting. And I would like to know that I, myself, and Hannah Chalker have done something this evening that might make you laugh and might also add a little bit more to your knowledge base about Georgia football. Definitely an enjoyable show. I had fun. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. Happy Valentine's Day, people. Absolutely. Happy Valentine's Day. Where can everyone find your stuff again? You can go to @JeffSintel on Twitter. You can find me at www.dognation.com/recruiting. Instagram's not popping yet because I got to raise my kids and be a family man. That's for all you young folks out there. I am on the Snapchat. We're not going to get into there. Dog Nation does have a Snapchat. Find us all on the Dog Nation message board forum and be good to your loved ones on Wednesday.
And don't forget to go to Kroger for all of your Valentine's Day needs: flowers, candy, chocolate, movies. Everything's there. All right, that's Chef's Intel. I'm Hannah Chalker. Thanks so much for watching Before the Hedges. If you want more entertainment, join us next Monday, same exact time, right here on Dog Nation. We'll see you then.